Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking literally one of the most monumental technological shifts in human history. And you know what's truly fascinating? This shift isn't happening in some remote, highly classified laboratory somewhere. No, it's being driven entirely by our everyday habits. We're talking about the human data explosion. We are currently navigating a digital landscape unlike anything humanity has ever seen before, where every single digital interaction acts as a building block for this entirely new kind of global infrastructure. So let's pull back the curtain on exactly what's happening right behind our screens. Think about your morning routine so far today. You probably checked your phone, maybe liked a friend's post, or asked a smart speaker for the weather forecast while you were brewing coffee. Well, every single one of those seemingly mundane actions leaves behind an invisible trail of digital information. But have you ever actually stopped to wonder where all that data actually goes? I mean, when you tell your GPS your destination or stream a podcast on your commute, how much of that footprint is permanently logged out there in the ether? We're constantly generating information day in and day out, beaming it into server farms without a second thought. We are basically creating this vast, invisible shadow of our daily lives.
Okay, let's dive into this. The quantity of data created by humans isn't just growing steadily. It is rapidly compounding every single year, strictly as a result of these specific innovations. And this incredible surge, it isn't some random phenomenon. It's the direct result of a few specific things deeply embedded in how we live. We're looking at the rapid introduction of new, interconnected technology and these increasingly smart gadgets we carry around in our pockets. But it's not just that we have more devices, right? It's that these devices are constantly talking to each other and syncing to the cloud. Combine that with the absolute explosion of communication channels where we're sharing high-res photos, tracking our heart rates, and broadcasting our thoughts globally. These exact innovations act as an engine, fundamentally driving up the sheer volume of data we produce as a society. But here's the catch. This relentless data creation has triggered a massive structural bottleneck. For a very long time, our traditional database systems were perfectly fine. Think of them like a well-organized filing cabinet, built for neat rows and columns of names, dates, and simple numbers. They work brilliantly for that, but they have a fundamentally limited capacity when faced with absolute chaos. Today, our modern reality is defined by datasets that are enormous, complex, and rapidly growing. So the core conflict we're facing is that our traditional database systems simply cannot process, store, and analyze these massive, complex datasets. The volume is just way too high, and the format is entirely too messy for those old filing cabinets to handle. And this brings us to the core concept at the center of this shift: big data. Massive, complex datasets that outgrow the capacity of traditional database systems to process, store, and analyze. Focus on those two descriptors for a moment: massive and complex. We are no longer dealing with simple lists of inventory or clean rows of financial figures. No, we're dealing with an intricate web of human behavior, sensor readings, and media. The sheer size and structural intricacy of this information completely shatters the old rules of data storage. It requires an entirely new paradigm just to hold the information, let alone actually understand it. But human innovation rarely creates a problem without also building a solution. Enter the hero of our story: big data analytics. This is exactly how we take that overwhelming digital chaos that has totally outgrown our old systems and actually extract meaning from it. Without it, we'd literally just be hoarding digital noise. Big data analytics is the essential tool for our new digital reality. It acts as the ultimate translator between raw, incomprehensible mountains of data and actionable human insight. So the crucial point is that big data analytics is the use of advanced analytic techniques applied to very large, heterogeneous datasets. You can't just use standard mathematical methods or basic software here. Because the data is so incredibly vast and varied, it strictly requires these advanced analytic techniques to handle it. We're talking about utilizing machine learning, artificial intelligence, and distributed computing. These advanced techniques use sophisticated algorithms that can spot patterns, correlations, and trends that a human being couldn't find in 1,000 lifetimes of analyzing spreadsheets. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it visualizes heterogeneous data sets, showing that data from many sources arrives in a chaotic mix of structured, semi-structured, and unstructured formats. On one end of the spectrum, you have structured data. Think of a perfectly organized Excel spreadsheet or a neat database of customer names and zip codes. It's highly predictable. Then you've got semi-structured data, like email files that have some standard tags but largely fluid content.
And finally, you have unstructured data, which is essentially the Wild West of digital information. This includes millions of raw text messages, highly compressed Instagram photos, erratic voice memos, streaming video, all thrown into the mix together. Trying to analyze all three of these data types simultaneously, that is the true monumental hurdle of modern analytics.
Now, to process this chaotic mix, we have to scale our computing power significantly. We're looking at sizes that start at terabytes. Now, a terabyte might not sound completely foreign to you. It might be the exact size of your personal laptop's hard drive, allowing you to store a couple hundred high-definition movies. But in the realm of global analytics, a terabyte is just the humble baseline. It represents the absolute starting point for the datasets these advanced systems are built to tackle. When we track the global human footprint, a terabyte is practically a drop in the ocean. And this brilliantly illustrates the staggering escalation of data sizes, ranging all the way to zettabytes. Zettabytes. This is a scale of information so incredibly expansive that it almost defies human comprehension. To put a zettabyte into perspective, if 1 gigabyte of data was represented by a single cup of coffee, a zettabyte would be equivalent to building the entire Great Wall of China made entirely out of coffee cups. It's a mind-bending volume. The fact that we have developed advanced analytic techniques that can even begin processing, storing, and analyzing zettabytes of varied, chaotic information is truly one of the great technological marvels of our era. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating and perhaps slightly humbling thought. With humans creating zettabytes of complex data, driven by our ever-growing reliance on new technology and constant communication, what will advanced analytics reveal next? With every tap of your screen, every swipe, and every voice command to your smart speaker, you are actively feeding into this massive, heterogeneous system. As our algorithms get better and faster at parsing through these zettabytes of digital chaos, what incredible, or perhaps even unsettling insights will they reveal about you, about me, and about society next?